This is Tom and Paula Graves from Light of Christ Radio.
And we are here with a story of faith that will give you and your group light for your journey of life.
Today we continue our series, Faith Makes a Difference, with the story of Abraham from Hebrews chapter 11 and also from Genesis chapter 22. But before we tell the story, we want to give you the context of the story.
And as we've looked at Hebrews 11, we've explored the stories of Abel, Noah, Enoch, and Sarah. And Hebrews 11 goes on to say, all these people died still believing what God had promised them. They did not receive what was promised, but they saw it all from a distance and welcomed it. They agreed that they were foreigners and nomads here on the earth.
Obviously, people who say such things are looking forward to a country they can call their own. If they had longed for the country they came from, they could have gone back, but they were looking for a better place, a heavenly homeland.
That is why God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he has prepared a city for them. And all these people had faith, even though they didn't see all that God had promised in their lifetime.
Last week, we learned the story of the miraculous birth of Isaac. Abraham also had a son, Ishmael, from his wife's maid, but Ishmael was not the child of the promise, and God had told Abraham to send the boy and the mother away, which he had done.
It was Isaac that had been born as the child of promise to Abraham and Sarah. Abraham was only human and had not always trusted God, and at times his faith had wavered. Now, God would severely test his faith. Now that you have the context of the story, simply listen to the story as we tell it.
Close your Bibles and try to picture yourself in the story. Listen carefully, because after the story is told, you'll be asked to retell the story.
Don't worry, we think reading the Bible text is important too. Be patient, and we'll get there.
But for now, please simply close your Bibles and listen.
Which brings us to a story from the Word of God.
After these things, God decided to test Abraham's faith. God said to him, "Abraham."
And he said, "Yes."
Then God said, "Take your son to the land of Moriah and kill your son there as a sacrifice for me. This must be Isaac, your only son, the one you love. Use him as a burnt offering on one of the mountains there. I will tell you which mountain."
In the morning, Abraham got up and saddled his donkey. He took Isaac and 2 servants with him. He cut the wood for the sacrifice, and then they went to the place where God told them to go.
After they traveled 3 days, Abraham looked up, and in the distance he saw the place where they were going. Then he said to his servants,
"Stay here with the donkey. The boy and I will go to that place and worship. Then we'll come back to you later."
Abraham took the wood for the sacrifice and put it on his son's shoulders. Abraham took the special knife and fire. Then both he and his son went together to the place for worship. Isaac said to his father Abraham, "Father."
And Abraham answered, "Yes, son."
Isaac said, "I see the wood and the fire, but where's the lamb we will burn as a sacrifice?"
And Abraham answered, "God himself is providing the lamb for the sacrifice, my son."
So both Abraham and his son went together to that place. When they came to the place where God told him to go, Abraham built an altar.
He carefully laid the wood on the altar, and then he tied up his son Isaac and laid him on the altar on top of the wood. Then Abraham reached for his knife to kill the son.
But the angel of the Lord stopped him. The angel called from heaven and said, "Abraham, Abraham."
And Abraham answered, "Yes."
The angel said, "Don't kill your son or hurt him in any way. Now I can see that you do respect and obey God. I see that you are ready to kill your son, your only son, for me."
Then Abraham noticed a ram whose horns were caught in a bush. So Abraham went and took the ram. He offered it instead of his son as a sacrifice to God. So Abraham gave that place a name, "The Lord Provides." Even today, people will say, "On the mountain of the Lord, he will give us what we need."
The angel of the Lord called to Abraham from heaven a second time. The angel said, "You were ready to kill your son, your only son, for me. Since you did this for me, I make you this promise. I, the Lord, promise that I will surely bless you and give you as many descendants as the stars in the sky. There will be as many people as sand on the seashore, and your people will live in cities that they will take from their enemies. Every nation on earth will be blessed through your descendants. I will do this because you obeyed me."
Then Abraham went back to his servants. They all traveled back to Beersheba, and Abraham stayed there. and this is a story from the Word of God.
Now that you've listened to the story, try to retell it from what you heard, then read the text.
Discussion questions are found below this video in the Show More section.
It is our prayer that these stories of faith from Hebrews 11 will strengthen your faith.
Be blessed.